As we look to 25, there's a lot of fundamentals in our business that we think are going to allow us to have a strong year. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty with some of the issues related to regulation and tariff.
Philip O joins us right now with GM CEO Mary Barra.
Mary, I want to ask you about your forecasting another strong year despite a lot of uncertainty that's out there in the market.
Good evening, friends. Today I'm taking you beyond the usual headlines. What you're about to hear is not just a clash between Donald Trump and General Motors. This is a decisive battle for the future of the entire American industrial sector, and its consequences will be felt far beyond car showrooms. In December, just a few weeks before Christmas, when it seemed that the largest companies were wrapping up the year and settling into the holiday lull, General Motors made a thunderous announcement out of the blue: 14,000 layoffs, the closure of 5 plants, including in the very heart of the Rust Belt, Ohio and Michigan. The message was loud and clear. The era of traditional auto manufacturing had come to an end. But this was more than a business decision. It was a blow to Trump's political doctrine, America First. In other words, a personal war. GM's CEO, Mary Barra, tried to frame the decision in respectable terms, that the year looked strong despite uncertainty, and the company was betting on sustainable growth directions. But the numbers and facts speak for themselves. This was not a restructuring. It was a retreat from America. GM chose a future in which electric vehicles, batteries from China, rare earth metals from Africa, and assembly plants in Mexico and Canada matter more than jobs in Detroit. Who owns the future if not those who build it, declares GM, investing billions into new technologies. Meanwhile, thousands of Americans are losing their jobs. What is this if not a new form of global economic migration? Trump took it as a betrayal. In his eyes, GM symbolizes everything he has fought for: American jobs, industry, patriotism. His reaction was immediate, from harsh statements on social media to threats of tariffs and sanctions. But here's the surprising part. General Motors not only didn't flinch, it seemed to have been fully prepared for such a turn of events. The company had long diversified its production, making itself nearly invulnerable. No single sanction could seriously shake their strategy. Modules from China, assembly in Canada, supply chains in Asia. GM has been living in the year 2030, while Trump is still in 1985. For the first time in history, a major American corporation openly challenged the President of the United States and survived. Meanwhile, GM's stock wavered but did not crash. Other companies began to take notice. Ford, Toyota, even Tesla all closely followed this battle. Should they stay the course of America first, risking falling behind in the technological race, or follow GM's lead and conquer the global market? What is more terrifying for the corporate world, losing the U.S. market or losing the war for innovation? The answer is drawing near. But let's pause and ask, why is this story so important right now? Because it reveals how economic policy has become a battleground between national sovereignty and corporate globalization. When Trump struck back with a 200% tariff on GM vehicle imports, it seemed the company wouldn't survive this time. The blow was heavy. This wasn't just a tariff, it was an economic time bomb. Analysts began speaking of supply chain collapse, rising car prices, and job losses across the entire industry. It felt like the final chord in the trade war, or perhaps the prelude to a much larger conflict. GM stayed afloat. Why? Because it had already restructured its logistics, secured long-term contracts in Asia and Europe, and built a network of alliances with foreign governments. And here's the paradox. While America imposes sanctions, the European market is reaping the rewards. China, meanwhile, continues to dominate battery production, and Europe is reinforcing green standards to protect its automakers. The result? American policy, intended to defend industry, has only accelerated its decline. Instead of a revival, deindustrialization. Instead of new jobs, foreign investment. Instead of victory, economic isolation. And what about American workers? Protests, picket lines, tears, and despair. Some blame GM, others blame Trump. But the most important truth is that these people have become hostages in a conflict where they don't get to set the rules. Their fate is no longer decided in unions or in Congress. It is decided in CEOs' offices and at meetings of the Council on Foreign Economic Relations. This is the new economy. Once America was the world's workshop. Today, it is becoming a battleground for foreign interests. And more, it seems that Made in the USA is no longer about jobs. It's about symbolism. One wants to ask, what's next? If even the largest auto company is not afraid of a direct clash with the White House, then who's next? Amazon? Apple? Boeing? Or perhaps we already live in a world where presidents come and go, but corporations remain and determine everything from our cars to our foreign policy? This story is a warning, not just for the United States, but for the entire West. The world is changing, borders are dissolving, and power is shifting from presidents to CEOs. The United States is entering a new phase where corporate interests intersect with national security, and the line between economic policy and geopolitics is finally blurred. General Motors may have won the battle, but will America lose the war? Share your thoughts. Who do you think was right in this confrontation, the president or the corporation? And most importantly, who owns the future today, politicians or the giants of Wall Street?